Welcome back to Girl Talk. Our good friend Bruce Wood from Hilton Head Capital Partners has joined me, and it's very nice to see you.
Happy spring.
Happy spring. I love your spring tie. That's
Thank
a
you.
Great green color.
I wore it just for you.
Nice little pop of spring right there. I love it. So let's talk. We're going to, before we started filming, we did a lot of talking, as we always do. So we have lots to get to, but we're going to talk a little bit about the financial market and as it relates to things.
Boring.
But I know, but you said 30 seconds because
Okay.
that is what you do. So we should
That's
probably
right.
touch on it a little bit.
Yeah.
And so let's talk to, here we are in spring, and I know that it's a consistency factor, but is there something? People are thinking about their taxes. They're maybe getting a refund. They are getting a stimulus check.
Yes.
Are people putting that in the market, or are they spending that?
Well, fortunately, our clients don't get a stimulus check.
Okay. There you go.
But we're finding that the people that are getting it through the information that is downloaded to us is that they're going to spend it at Best Buys.
Yeah, right.
They're going to spend it. And that's good.
Because that goes back to the economy.
That goes into the economy. That's right. Exactly correct. Maybe they'll take a trip. Who knows?
Yeah.
That's opening up.
Well, they're certainly coming here.
That is for certain.
Right?
My Lord.
It is.
People are coming here in droves. I don't think there's a house for sale in this place.
Or rent.
Or rent.
Right.
That's
yeah.
exactly right.
So let's talk a little bit. You said from a female standpoint, most of the time they're coming to you after something has happened to their spouse.
That's correct.
Maybe it could be a divorce situation, it could be a death situation, but now they're on their own facing finances, particularly if the spouse has passed away. And you talked a little bit about the importance of having family around you when that situation happens, so that you're not making a knee-jerk reaction with your finances.
Absolutely. I encourage a surviving spouse who's unfamiliar with their investments to bring in their family. Families are a very, safe harbor.
Yeah.
And so if you bring them in and you educate them all at the same time, then they can all be part of the solution, which is good because we've gone from one place to another place.
Right.
So absolutely.
Well, and I think it's sort of a parallel to maybe a medical situation. If you have something that's going on with yourself medically, you're very emotional about that. So the doctor might be talking to you and you're kind of hearing like half of what's being said. So if you have an advocate sitting there, they're going to know exactly the course that you should be taking. So it's really the same thing with you.
Yes, absolutely. I believe in the more people that can be involved, as difficult as that is because there's so many voices.
Right.
But if you educate them slowly and bring them along, not to make any immediate changes, but slowly and be involved in it, set them up for a conversation, it works out very, very well.
How do you steer the conversation into keeping the investments where they are and not letting a mom who's very emotionally attached to her son, who is all of a sudden a day trader, take things over?
Well, that's pretty tough. Trust me, that is a more difficult thing. I don't discourage it. That's
Okay.
the worst thing you can do is tell somebody, no, you can't do this.
Right, because
So what you want to
do
do is you just want to say the prudent thing to do is to limit the amount of exposure into somebody new into the equation. So I think everybody knows that when tragedy hits a family, you don't want to do anything right away.
Right.
You don't sell the house, you don't do anything. You reconnoiter, find out what's out there.
Yeah.
But you tell if you've got that situation, I've many times said, sure, why don't we set up another account and put $100,000 into that account and let's see what they can do with it. That's the test.
Yeah.
And that's an eye-opening for the surviving spouse.
Well, but I think that's obviously such great advice, because then you've got a little bit with there and a lot safe still with you.
That's right. Whoa.
And again, talking about emotions and things like that, because obviously females are emotional beings and we
True.
make a lot of decisions with our heart, sometimes with our logic too, but mostly we do a lot with emotions.
That's good.
And so, if we do have our portfolio with you, tell us about how you're going to manage that so I don't have to be every day emotionally involved in what's going on there, because obviously females have a lot on their plate differently than men do, but we're moms, we're business people, we have all kinds of things going on. So if I have one less thing that I don't have to look at every day, but tell me how the comfort level that you give that to your clients that way.
Well, that is a really good question, because what I tell people, there is no common ground here. Every individual is totally different, and what they need as an individual varies as much as days vary, right? So it's a matter of sitting down with them and talking to them about what their interests are in managing assets, what their problems are with finances, if they know that, but then designing a program right around there. You slowly have to move them from doing nothing. I always loved the expression, you have to move from bobby socks to blue jeans.
Okay.
And you've got to walk before you can run. And their process does take some time. But a good advisor, and we have great advisors on Hilton Head, the process takes time. It just takes time. And it's forceful. You have to be with the client all the time. And the big thing that I have found is making sure the trusts and the wills are in good shape before somebody passes away. The biggest mistakes that my clients make, not mine, but the client can make, is not having an up-to-date will, not having an up-to-date trust. This is singly the worst thing that can happen to them. Yeah. It's just brutal, the amount of problems they'll have if they don't have these two things. So we always make sure that the legal documents are squared away.
Perfect. Well, we've got about a little less than a minute left, so let's talk about what you're excited about this spring, something fun that you're excited about.
Oh, it's a great time for men and women both to get out in their cars.
Yes.
And the Palmetto Drivers Syndicate has rallies once a month. The car clubs on the island, the Lowcountry Oyster Motorcar Driving Society, has their, for their men and women members, have lots going on. Mercedes is having a get-together at the Crazy Crab on Saturday from 10 to 12, coffee and donuts for Mercedes owners. There's a lot going on. Yeah. And then preparing for that, there's a lot of car shows, there's a lot of barbecues. This is a great time of the year.
It absolutely is. So thank you for being with us, Bruce. It's always good to see you, and we'll be right back with more Girl Talk.